Now we're going to talk about creating templates. As we've seen, creating simple forms is fairly straightforward. But even so, some of the steps can become a bit repetitive. If we can work out a set of things we think we'd like to use on other forms, we can save them as a template and simply drag them on to a new form. We could save this whole form, but some aspects of it are very specific to the contacts. So what we'd like to do is save this set of buttons. These are pretty general, and there are some useful rules to hide certain buttons when we're doing certain things. What we don't need in the template is the field layout, because that's very specific to the contacts. There are cases where you might want to add fields into a template. The UID is a good candidate, since that will appear on many forms. There's more about what you might want to include in a template in the course notes. So let's get on and create a dashboard to start building up our template. We'll call this Template Dashboard. We'll create a new form, and let's give this new form a name. Double click on the background to bring up the form details. We'll call this Template Form. When you're building templates, you probably need to give them more specific names, because you'll probably end up with several sets. Now we're going to use a new type of component called an area. This allows you to group components together on a form, and it will allow us, from our new template, to easily drag all the buttons onto a form. Let's drag the area out enough to fit all the buttons in. Then we'll go and create template copies of the buttons from our Contacts app. We're going to do this from the layout in the repository. The layout is where all the form configuration is stored. So remember, our Contacts edit form is called Contact Details, and underneath there you can see all the components you've configured on the form. For each button, right click and select Copy as Template. If you go into Layout Templates, you'll see copies of those buttons. Now, from the template copies, we will remove any configuration which is specific to contacts. On the Add button, we have a custom action which checks contact data, so we can take that away. Let's check the Clear button. There's no custom action on there. On the Delete button, there is a custom action here, but it just sets the confirmation message, so we can keep that. And finally, on the Update button. Again, we'll clear this custom action because that applies validation, which is only relevant to contact. Let's go back to our template building dashboard. Now we'll add these template buttons onto this dashboard. When you add something from a template, it creates a new copy in the layout, and we'll see that in a moment. Okay, I've dragged those buttons on in a rather haphazard way, so let's tidy this up a bit. So we'll select all the buttons, right click, arrange selected items, and we can distribute them and then align them. Next, we want to save this area as a template, and that in turn will save all the buttons inside it. We'll go into the layout for this template building form. and we can save the area as a template. You can save anything as a template at whatever level. Now we can see in our templates we have the area, and inside there are the buttons that belong to it. We can drag that area onto a form. So to test that, we're going to create a new app to maintain a list of countries. We'll speed up a bit because these are steps you've completed before. We'll create a dashboard, a stream, and from that stream we'll create a grid view and an edit form on the dashboard. We'll slow down a bit at the end just to cover a couple of steps which you have done before, but it's very important to remember. Drag the UID field from the grid view to the edit form. This links the two views. To hide the UID in the grid view, double click on the column header and the view attribute pops up. Click the hidden field. Click on the UID field in the edit form. Open style settings and select hidden. So that's our basic form built. Now we need to add all our buttons. So go and find the area template we saved earlier. Under layout templates, find the area, drag it on. And there we have all our buttons, including the rules to hide certain buttons when the user is doing certain things. Remember, when you drag a template onto a form, it creates a complete copy. So let's have a look at the layout for our new country list form. There you can see the area and all the buttons, which are completely independent of the template. Before we go on, let's just reorganise this form because it's quite large for a simple list. Great. Now we can go and try it in app mode. We'll add a few countries and apply a correction. And that's our new form built. One thing I forgot to do while we were creating our area template was to give the template a good name. It's very important that we do this to keep our templates well organised. I'm going to call this template Basic Form Edit Buttons Template.